The disciple, Arjun, found his teacher, Dr. Ved, not in the pristine laboratory he'd imagined, but in his sun-drenched garden, pruning a rose bush. Arjun's brow was furrowed, his shoulders tense. He carried a notebook filled with charts of his own spiraling anxieties. "Doctor," Arjun began, his voice tight. "I've been tracking my thoughts. The ratio is alarming. For every positive or neutral thought, there are 7 of worry, of replaying old arguments, of fearing the future. My mind feels like a crowded, dark room. I'm mentally exhausted. But tell me truthfully, is it just in my head? Is it just a feeling?" Dr. Ved put down his shears, wiping his hands on his trousers. He looked at Arjun not as a patient, but as a fellow gardener. "Arjun," he said softly, "it is in your head. But it is not just in your head. Your thoughts are not harmless ghosts. They are masons. They are, at this very moment, with every repeated worry, physically remodeling the architecture of your brain. And a mind fed on fear is a mind that builds a prison, cell by cell." Arjun's eyes widened. "Physically? You mean like a muscle?" "More like a forest," Dr. Ved replied, gesturing to the trees around them. "Come, let me show you the signs of your sorrow." He led Arjun to a simple wooden bench. "Your brain is a universe of roughly 86 billion neurons. They don't just sit there. They are constantly reaching out to each other across tiny gaps called synapses, forming pathways. This is neuroplasticity, your brain's miraculous ability to change itself based on experience. Neurons that fire together, wire together. This is good, yes?" Arjun asked. "It is the principle of all learning," Dr. Ved nodded. "But here is the terrible, beautiful truth. Your thoughts are an experience. When you repeatedly think a thought, "I'm not good enough, this will go wrong, they don't like me," you are not just having a fleeting idea. You are sending a specific electrical signal down a specific neural pathway. Each time you replay that thought, you deepen the groove. You myelinate it, wrap it in a fatty sheath that makes it superhighway fast. You are practicing being anxious. You are perfecting the art of fear." Arjun felt a chill. His mental habit of nightly reviewing his failures wasn't just a bad mood. It was a daily training session in inadequacy. Now, Dr. Ved continued, his tone grave, enter the body's chemical army. A negative, stressful thought, especially one laced with fear or helplessness, is perceived by a primitive part of your brain, the amygdala, as a threat. It sounds the alarm. Your body floods itself with cortisol and adrenaline. "The stress chemicals," Arjun muttered. "Exactly. In a real crisis, these chemicals save your life. But when the crisis is a thought loop, a fabricated story about the future, this chemical bath becomes a corrosive acid for your brain. Chronic, high cortisol is a neurotoxin." Dr. Ved leaned forward. "It does two devastating things. First, it poisons the hippocampus, the brain's memory and learning center, and the very organ that helps turn off the stress response. Think of it as melting the brakes on your fear circuit. And the second?" Arjun whispered, already dreading the answer. "The second," Dr. Ved said, "is where the physical shrinkage occurs. This toxic stress severely dampens neurogenesis, the birth of new brain cells, particularly in that same hippocampus. It also causes synaptic pruning. Your brain, in a twisted survival mode, decides it must streamline. It starts cutting what it deems non-essential connections. But it's a blind gardener. In its panic, it doesn't just prune dead branches. It shears away delicate, newly formed pathways of positivity, creativity, and higher reasoning that haven't been used enough in your state of fear." He painted the bleak picture. "So, your forest of neurons is under attack. The soil, the hippocampus, is becoming barren, unable to grow new saplings. The lush, interconnected canopy is being aggressively thinned. The brain's volume, its gray matter density, literally shrinks. This is not a metaphor, Arjun. MRI scans show it. Chronic stress, depression, and anxiety correlate with measurable atrophy in the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex, the very seats of your memory, your control, and your wise decision-making. Arjun sat in stunned silence. His thoughts had felt like a storm. He now realized they were a slow-acting acid. But Dr. Ved said, his voice lifting, and he pointed to a fresh, green shoot breaking through the dark soil near their feet. The very same principle that destroys can rebuild. Neuroplasticity is neutral. The brain that wires itself for fear can rewire itself for peace. Every time you consciously interrupt the negative loop, you weaken that superhighway. And every time you cultivate a positive, grateful, or present moment thought, you fire and wire a new, fragile pathway of light. How? Arjun pleaded, the notebook of his anxieties suddenly feeling like a ledger of self-harm. You must become a vigilant gardener of your mind, Dr. Ved instructed. First, mindfulness. See the negative thought as a passing cloud, not the sky. This simple act of observation begins to dissolve its power. Second, conscious redirection. When you catch the old groove, deliberately think a different, kinder thought. It will feel fake at first. You are laying the first brick on a new road. Third, practices that directly heal. Deep, slow breathing tells your amygdala the danger has passed, lowering cortisol. Meditation has been shown to increase gray matter density in the prefrontal cortex and hippocampus. Exercise floods your brain with BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, is your brain's miracle-grow fertilizer, a protein that grows new brain cells, strengthens neural connections, and protects against mental decline. Dr. Ved placed a hand on Arjun's shoulder. You asked if it was just a feeling. No, your negative thoughts are a self-fulfilling prophecy of neurological decline. They're not just about weakness. They actively create it in your very structure. But the opposite is also true. Your choice to cultivate peace, to seek joy, to practice gratitude, these are not just good vibes. They are acts of biological construction. You are not just thinking a happier thought. You are physically, chemically, architecturally growing a stronger, larger, more resilient brain. You are quite literally building the mind that will set you free. Arjun looked from the dark soil to the green shoot, and then up at the vast, open sky. He understood now. The battle for his peace was not an abstract, spiritual one. It was a concrete, physiological campaign. Every thought was a vote for the world he would neurologically inhabit, a world of shrinking darkness or expanding light. He closed his notebook, took a deep, deliberate breath, and decided, in that moment, to start building a cathedral.